What's up guys, my name is Thyre from YoreMTG and today I'm here with another deck tech for you. So this deck is called Grixis Tempo and it's a standard deck and also kind of a rogue one. And with so little time into the new format, we didn't really know what decks will actually be the most played and the ones to beat. So this is somewhat of a shot in the dark. Although I built this deck not only to be competitive and good, but also extremely fun. So let's dive right in. If you take a look at the deck list here, we can see striking similarities to the same kind of deck, but in a different format. And yes, that deck is modern Grixis Delver. Looking closely, we see a resemblance in the amount of creatures, cantrips and removal spells to the modern deck. This is a conscious decision to have a starting point for the new deck to build from. Instead of just guessing wildly, I feel like it's better to, have something proven good to build from. So now let's delve deeper, pun intended, into the deck and take a look at the first slide. Starting off here, we have the sheep creatures, the bread and butter of the deck. A place that eats each of Jace Rin's Prodigy, Monaster's Swift Spear and Storm Chaser Mage. The Swift Spear and the Storm Chaser Mage, prove as probably the best cards in the deck. The reason they are played in other formats than standard is the sheer efficiency of the cards. A low mana cost for an aggressive threat that grows with every helping spell we cast. It's just amazing. You can use these getting for huge chunks of damage. They add up. For example, we could cast a turn 1 Swift Spear, swing for 1, follow up with a turn 2 Storm Chaser and swing for 2, then turn 3 Wild Slash their turn 2 creature and anticipate our next draw, and then swing for 6. In 3 turns the game is highly in our favor. Then we have the Jace, and you shouldn't be surprised. It is probably it is possible to find a more budget alternative to Jace, but I don't feel like it would be nearly as efficient. If it was something, I'd probably go with even more. Maybe Splash White, play Seeker of the Way. I don't know. Jace, a card also played in Modern, you noticed the pattern by now, helps us flashback our many instants and sorceries, and for even more prowess triggers. Ha 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 ha. Oh, it's beautiful. Moving on, we have the more expensive creatures. Abbot of Carol Keep and Tasker the Golden Fang, 2 of each. Abbot is a card advantage and another Abbot is card advantage and another prowess creature to hit him for heavy damage later on in the game, and Tasker is a late game bomb for mostly often 1 single mana, providing a 4/5 body as well as card drawing. Notice for every single creature in our deck, it provides spell-like value. Every single creature has some kind of extra value. Then we move on to our card draw spells. They consist of 3 Anticipate, 2 Painful Truths and 1 single Dig Through Time. And since Dig Through Time competes with both Tasker and Murder's Cut, we only play 1. And then Anticipate pretty much gives +1/+1 to all of your creatures, thanks to the prowess. And Painful Truths gives us an insane card draw and to mana ratio. Insane enough to be a legacy staple, if you have seen that deck. After that, let's move on to our burn spells. And we play quite a whole lot of them. 10 to be exact. 4 Wild Slash, 1 Roast, 2 Fiery Impulse and 3 Exquisite Firecraft. The reason we play more burn spells than removal spells is so that we can, if needed, deal more damage to the opposing player. Those 2 damage from that Wild Slash to the opponent, plus a swing from your prowess guys, it's often what's needed to close out a game. Then we have 3 burn spells for creatures that are removal spells have a harder time targeting. Roast for Siege Rhino, for example, since it deals 5 damage and Siege Rhino has 5 in toughness, and Fiery Impulse for their first creature. Moving on, we have removal spells. 1 Murder's Cut, 2 Ultimate Price, and 1 Dispel and 2 Colligan's Command. As you can see, Colligan's Command also deals burn damage, which is another reason to play the card. It's fantastic. Ultimate Price targets monocolored creatures such as Nantuko Husk, Wingmate Rock, or perhaps Monster Mentor, as well as many other things. And the Murder's Cut deals with everything else that we cannot handle. Then we have the much liked 1 of Dispel in the main board, and as you know, with all the Rally the Ancestors, Jessica Charms, Collected Companies and so on, this card is extremely efficient even in the main board. And now we have lands. There's not too much to talk about here really. We play the usual amount of fetches and battle lands with one Wandering Fumarole for extra damage if needed, and then one Mirror Pool for extra removal, for an extra removal spell or an abbot or something. The mana should be highly efficient in this deck compared to wedge colored ones and fall colored ones, thanks to all the uncolored lands. We play 10 fetches, they all fetch for each of our colors. It's really good. We have consistency. And lastly, we have some sideboard options. I chose to play it safe here and not build an entire one because of how inaccurate it could be to the new standard meta as well as your local one. I chose to include these as 3 cards because of their versatility, pretty much. Self-Inflicted Wound is here to represent all of the color hate cards, although this one is my favorite against Obsan and Rally decks. And the extra life loss is better than in this deck than most other ones actually, because here we strive to deal small chunks of damage to add up into one life total, pretty much. Then we have Kozilek's Return, and yes, I do know that we don't play any huge Eldrasis, but that kinda doesn't matter. In a matchup against small creatures, this kills everything on their side and pretty much nothing on yours, thanks to the prowess triggers that trigger when you cast this. The sheer value of that. Imagine your Swift Spear that gets pumped to a 2-3 when you cast Kozilek's Return. It survives, it's awesome. Lastly, I chose to include Duress, the poor man's Thoughtseize. This card, just as with the spell, is extremely good right now with all the powerful non-creature spells running around. And against controlled, the victory is quickly within your reach. I mean, Duress gets, just as with the spell, almost everything right now. It's extremely good. And yeah, that was all for this time. I really hope you enjoyed this deck tech. If you want to read more in depth about playing Grixis in Standard, splashing white, playing Grixis Control, be sure to check out my next article on the Deck Maniacs blog. Should be up this week. And yeah, I hope you can read that and learn even more about this. I think this is a good deck, good thing to build on. And yeah, a lot of time went into making all of this, writing the script and all these slides, animating everything. And if you enjoyed this way of doing a deck tech, please let me know by leaving a like or comment. That is hugely appreciated. I love reading each and every one of your comments, and seeing likes on my videos makes me all fuzzy inside. Or you could even subscribe to the YoreMTG channel. That would be freaking amazing. Please do that. I'll send you virtual cookies or something. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!